Wow, I have this bio in front of me, and what has this girl not done? She started surfing in the 6th grade, and in those days, the women weren't highly respected. She surfed in the boys' division, and then she was a competitor. But I think this is the most important part of the bio. She's been involved with the ESA for over 40 freaking years. That's what. There's a list of names here that through those years she's worked with. Doc Couture, Bette Marsh, Ruth Gratola, Tom McLaren, George Gerlach, Cecil Lear, David Reese, Kathy Phillips. That's a pretty incredible lineup right there. That's worth a round of applause too. She is an ESA Marsh Scholarship recipient. She's been a journalist, contributed to Surfing and Surfer magazine, moved to California for a while as the East Coast editor for Surfer. And the final part, I think that just like Dwyer, for the past 25 years, she's been teaching art in the New Jersey public school system. That's important. It's my pleasure to bring up to the stage Lisa Roselli.
Thank you all. I think Joe spoke for both of us earlier and thanked a bunch of people. I also want to thank some people who surprised me and came a long distance. Kara, Dylan, Kathy, Jeff, and especially Pam that flew in from Florida. Pam Hill. Thank you so much. Thank you. I also want to thank some members of my family. I kind of keep my worlds from not colliding, my family and surfing, and they found out and came, and I really appreciate having you guys. It's awesome. I can't even imagine what my life would be like without surfing. I really don't want to imagine it without surfing. I need to thank my mom and dad, who I finally tortured into buying me my first surfboard, which was a 6'6" Jim Overland V-bottom from Surfer Supplies, finally freeing me from the styrofoam beasts I'd been riding since age 5. I got my first real surfboard in 6th grade, but I had been surfing since I was a little kid on junk. My mom and dad were very hesitant to buy me a surfboard, having been told by a very close family friend that surfers were a bad element. And looking out there and looking at myself every day in the mirror, I realized they were mostly right. We definitely were outsiders, and we lived by a different set of rules and values others didn't appreciate or understand at the time. I love that for the most part, after that initial purchase, most of our parents back then didn't know or really even have the time to care what we were up to. And we had a freedom that rarely exists today. As kids, we surfed all day, skated all night, and we're always running from lifeguards and cops. We tore around on our bikes through those crowded beach towns, and it was the best time ever. I feel so lucky to have grown up back then, and I would not trade it for anything. And by the way, I'm not sure about the cop part, but I feel bad about the lifeguard part because I'm a lot cooler with lifeguards now. At some point, one or two cool parents and older surfers started taking us up and down the Jersey coast and the entire East Coast for contests that were back then so much more about traveling, exploring, meeting other surfers, and surfing other waves than about winning. And that's how I met most of all of you. I guess the very last thing I would say is that when I was a really little girl, I chose surfing as my life, and I chose you all as my family. And tonight, I could not thank you enough for choosing me back. It means everything to me. Thank you.